Primitive minds like theirs couldn't possibly outmaneuver us, scoffed Vicarith, supreme strategist of the Galactic Council. His spindly, three-fingered hands gestured dismissively toward the holographic map hovering above the grand chamber table. Earth, a pale blue dot, was a mere speck in the glowing expanse. Across from him, General Zaroth of the Zareth Commandos leaned back, his armored frame radiating confidence. If humans are as clever as their propaganda suggests, why have their armies yet to impress us? Their skirmishes are as disorganized as hatchlings on their first hunt. Laughter rippled through the council chamber, a cacophony of alien tones mocking a perceived lesser species. The arrogance in the room was palpable. Years of unchecked dominance had bred complacency among the Galactic Council's members. Conquest was second nature. Opposition was but a passing inconvenience. For centuries, the Council ruled through intimidation, enforcing control over planets too fractured or feeble to resist. Humanity, though comparatively young to the galactic stage, had chosen to challenge that legacy. A mistake, they thought. Yet one member of the Council did not share their confidence. Sarek of the Endovan, a towering figure with pale, chitinous plates, tapped the table lightly. "I caution you not to mistake caution for weakness," he said, his tone measured but firm. "Humanity's unpredictability is a variable we cannot calculate." "We need no calculations," Zaroth interrupted, his deep voice brimming with disdain. "Their lack of cohesive strategy is evident in every engagement." He pointed at the map highlighting the colony world of Rorax II, the crucial human outpost now in the sights of the Zareth commanders. Rorax II is their gateway to the outer colonies. Crush it, and Earth loses its strategic foothold in the sector. A unanimous vote soon authorized the assault. Zaroth's forces would descend upon Rorax II, overwhelming it with superior numbers and advanced weaponry. The Council adjourned with a chorus of confidence, each member retreating to their domains, assured of a swift and decisive victory. On Rorax II, chaos reigned. Massive alien cruisers dominated the skies, blotting out the sun as Zareth ground forces surged across the urban landscape. Human resistance was valiant but futile. Squads of soldiers fell one after another beneath the unrelenting onslaught. Lieutenant Marcus Reed, the last surviving officer of his platoon, crouched behind a crumbling barricade as plasma bulks scorched the air around him. "Command, this is Red Watch Bravo," Reed said, his voice hoarse over the battered comlink. "We're surrounded, requesting immediate reinforcements. Repeat, Rorax II is under siege." Static crackled in his earpiece before a solemn voice cut through. "Hold the line, Lieutenant. Reinforcements are inbound." Reed knew better. Reinforcements wouldn't arrive in time, but he also knew the stakes. Rorax II falling would mean a cascade of defeats across Earth's territories. Clenching his jaw, he returned fire, his rifle's limited ammunition dwindling rapidly. Nearby, civilians screamed as they were herded into containment pens. The Zareth saw no distinction between soldiers and non-combatants. To them, Earthlings were nothing more than inferior prey. From a vantage point aboard the command cruiser Eviscerator, General Zaroff watched the carnage with satisfaction. "Look at them squabble," he growled, his mandibles clicking in amusement. "This planet will fall before their reinforcements even mobilize. They are hopelessly outclassed." A nearby officer signaled Zaroff, his armored claw tapping a display. "Sir, a small human transport has entered the system. Our scans show no significant threat. Destroy it if it becomes a nuisance." Zaroth replied dismissively. "Let them witness the futility of resistance." On the fringes of the Rorax system, a stealth transport glided silently through the void. Inside, a group of human soldiers sat in grim silence, their faces illuminated by the dim red light of the cabin. Every movement, every breath was disciplined and precise. They were the best Earth had to offer. SEAL Team 6. Commander Jack Hayes, a grizzled veteran with sharp eyes and a steady demeanor, leaned forward, addressing the team. "You all know the stakes," he began, his voice calm yet authoritative. Rorax 2 is critical. If it falls, they'll crush the colonies one by one. We're going to make sure that doesn't happen. Beside him, Master Chief Alex Monroe smirked faintly, adjusting the suppressor on his rifle. Hope these lizards like surprises, he quipped, earning a low chuckle from the others. Focus, Hayes snapped, his tone firm. The Zareth aren't stupid, just overconfident. That's our advantage. They think we're weak. Let's show them what humans are capable of. The transport's pilot broke in over the comms. Approaching Rorax orbit. Enemy ships haven't detected us yet, but I wouldn't count on that holding for long. Hayes nodded, signaling his team to prepare for deployment. Stealth insertion was their specialty, and tonight they would put every ounce of their training to use. The team moved with rehearsed efficiency, checking weapons, calibrating gear, and steeling themselves for the operation ahead. As the transport slipped unnoticed past the enemy fleet, Hayes took a final glance at the mission briefing. Operation Rorax Restoration, it was titled. Simple, but decisive. He clenched his fists, his resolve solid. Humanity had been underestimated before, and it wouldn't happen again. From the chaos on the ground to the quiet resolve in the SEAL's transport, the battle for Rorax Sioux had begun. Go dark and stay silent, Hayes murmured through his comm as the stealth transport released the SEALs into the cold vacuum above Rorax 2. Clad in advanced adaptive camouflage suits, the team drifted down silently, their equipment designed to bypass even the most advanced Zarath detection systems. Below them, the besieged city flickered with sporadic gunfire and the glow of containment shields, hurting panicked civilians. As the team touched down on the rooftop of an abandoned building, Hayes signaled his men to form up. Objective is 3 clicks east, Zareth command post. Monroe, flank lead. Carter, with me. Aro, overwatch position. Master Chief Alex Monroe grunted in acknowledgement, his muscular frame moving with an agility that belied his size. Time to remind these bastards why we're the apex predators. The Zareth command post sat in the city's industrial heart, heavily fortified and buzzing with activity. From their vantage point, SEAL Team 6 studied the target with methodical precision. Commander Hayes assessed the situation through thermal imaging. Heavy infantry at both entrances, rotating patrols every 2 minutes. Looks like they've reinforced since the last intel drop. No big deal, Sergeant Mike Harlow said from his sniper perch, adjusting his rifle scope. His voice was calm, almost playful. They just gave me more targets. Hayes smirked slightly but stayed focused. Stick to the plan. No improvising. This mission isn't about glory. It's about sending a message. The infiltration began with surgical precision. Monroe led the breach team, his suppressed weapon dispatching 2 guards at the north entrance without raising an alarm. Carter followed close behind, laying EMP charges to disable the security grid. Meanwhile, Harlow provided overwatch, eliminating sentries before they could sound the alarm. Grid's down, Carter confirmed, his fingers dancing over the panel of the Zareth command console. These guys aren't as smart as they think. Their encryption is child's play. Inside, chaos erupted as the Zareth scrambled to respond to the intrusion. The SEALs moved like shadows, exploiting their enemy's disarray. Hayes led the team through the labyrinthine corridors of the command post, their footsteps muffled by advanced noise-dampening boots. Each encounter was swift and decisive. Blades and suppressors ensured no sound reached beyond the immediate vicinity. Clear left, Monroe muttered, sweeping his sector with practiced efficiency. I've got motion ahead, Harlow said over the comms. Looks like a squad's forming up, Hayes nodded. We go loud now. No time for subtlety. Carter, breach the command center. Harlow, cover fire on my mark. At the command center doors, Carter planted a breaching charge and stepped back, counting down silently. The explosion was muffled, but its impact was immediate. The SEALs stormed in, weapons firing with ruthless precision. Zareth's officers and their guards barely had time to react before falling under the humans' overwhelming assault. One alien officer, his chitinous armor reflecting flashes of muzzle fire, snarled in defiance as he lunged at Hayes. With a single, practiced motion, Hayes sidestepped and drove a combat knife through the officer's neck. Human sphere war. Not today. he muttered, retrieving his blade as the alien crumpled. Back outside, the Zarith forces were reeling. Harlow's sniper fire decimated reinforcements attempting to secure the perimeter, while Carter's EMP charges sent enemy comm systems into chaos. Civilians watching from makeshift pens began murmuring in confused hope. Something was changing in the balance of power. Everything was coming together. Everything lost might return. The Zareth commander, alerted to the carnage at his post, barked orders to regroup his forces. "Seal the entrances! Flush them out!" he growled, his mandibles clicking with anger. But the SEALs were already several steps ahead. Monroe led the team through an underground maintenance route, emerging near the transport stations used to herd the human captives. "Let's give these people their home back," he said, tossing a smoke grenade into the plaza. Under the cover of smoke, Hayes led the charge into the containment area. SEALs neutralized guards with brutal efficiency, freeing groups of captives and directing them to safe zones marked earlier in their advance. "Move! Keep your heads down and stay together," Hayes barked at the terrified civilians, many of whom stared in awe at their unlikely saviors. As the SEALs worked, the Zareth began coordinating a counterattack. Dropships thundered overhead, delivering elite alien commandos armed with plasma rifles. From his overwatch position, Harlow called out, "We've got company. Looks like they're sending their heavy hitters." Monroe chuckled grimly. Finally, a real fight. He knelt behind cover, his automatic rifle barking out a deadly rhythm as the first wave of reinforcements fell. Inside the chaos, Hayes realized the team needed to split up. Monroe, Carter, keep the evac route secure. Harlow, suppress their aerial support. I'll hold the plaza until these people are clear. Monroe hesitated but nodded. "Just don't die on me, boss. I don't want to explain that to command." As the team dispersed, Hayes stood alone against waves of advancing Zareth. His movements were swift, each shot a calculated kill. Alien after alien fell, their once overwhelming force crumbling in the face of relentless human discipline and precision. The last dropship retreated under a volley of sniper fire from Harlow. As silence fell over the battlefield, Hayes surveyed the scene. The once bustling command post lay in ruins, its defenders scattered or slain. The civilians were safe, spirited away by Monroe and Carter's efforts. Hayes activated his comm. "Mission accomplished. Rorax 2 is back in human hands. For now." Far above the planet aboard the Eviscerator, Zaroth watched the devastation unfolding below with growing unease. "This wasn't a skirmish," he muttered. "This was a message." Hayes and his team weren't finished yet. This victory was only the beginning. A calculated blow to the Galactic Council's confidence and a spark for humanity's resurgence.
"This cannot be possible," Zaroth's deep voice reverberated in the Galactic Council's chamber. The warlord's mandibles twitched in agitation as holographic footage of the Rorax 2 operation played for the council members. The footage showed SEAL Team 6 dismantling Zareth forces with chilling efficiency. What stood out wasn't just the precision, it was the finality. There had been no hesitation, no mercy. Councillor Revier, a towering Creathian with bioluminescent skin that pulsed erratically, raised a trembling claw. The humans, a supposedly primitive species, achieved this? Against your best forces? His tone held equal parts disbelief and fear. Zaroth's eyes narrowed. "Do not mistake this for luck. What we witnessed on Rorax 2 is a testament to human adaptability and a disregard for conventional rules of engagement." The chamber descended into murmurs. Throughout galactic history, wars were fought with ritual and decorum. Rules had been established over centuries to avoid total annihilation, preserving the delicate balance of power. Humanity had no such reservations. Councillor Varric, a Rorathi noble known for his scorn of Earth, slammed his armored fist on the table. "This insolence cannot go unanswered. Deploy our fleets and reduce Earth to rubble." Councillor Kane, the Terrell diplomat, gave a sardonic hiss. "And what happens when their soldiers infiltrate your throne world? Or when their snipers turn our generals into targets? The Zareth underestimated them, and look at the outcome." Meanwhile, aboard the human flagship Retribution, Commander Hayes debriefed his team. The operation had been a resounding success, and Earth's leaders had made sure the Council received the footage. Hayes stared at the gathered SEALs, his voice steady. "Rorax 2 was a warning, not just to the Zareth but to every member of the Council. If they think they can challenge Earth without consequences, they're wrong. Monroe leaned against the bulkhead, a grin playing on his face. Seems like they got the message loud and clear. Carter chuckled. Clear as plasma fire at night. Harlow remained characteristically quiet but tapped the sniper's insignia on his chest. The action said it all, the SEALs were prepared to defend humanity, no matter the cost. Hayes folded his arms. They'll retaliate. Maybe not today, but they will. Our job isn't just to fight back, it's to make them regret ever starting this war. In the council chamber, debate raged on. Revier tentatively broke through the shouting. We must consider negotiations. Humanity's warriors operate with a terrifying efficiency, and we are ill-equipped to counter their methods. Zarotha's mandibles flared in irritation. You suggest surrender? Revier's bioluminescence dimmed, a sign of deference. I suggest survival. Kane nodded. The humans turned their lack of traditional warfare into an advantage. They have no preconceptions, no rituals, and no qualms about collateral damage. Fighting them on their terms is folly. Varric snarled. You're cowards. I refuse to bow to savages. A cold voice cut through the chamber, silencing the arguments. Then prepare to be annihilated, Hayes's voice rang out as a live holographic feed of the SEAL commander appeared in the council hall. Gasps echoed as the members realized the humans had hacked their secure communications network. Hayes stood tall in his battle-worn armor, his expression resolute. Earth did not seek war, Hayes began, his tone as cold as ice. But you brought it to our doorstep. What you witnessed on Rorax 2 is a fraction of what humanity is capable of. Varric sneered. You dare threaten the council? Hayes didn't flinch. It's not a threat, it's a promise. If you insist on pushing this war, you'll learn the hard way that humanity never fights for power or glory. We fight to win. And when we win, there's nothing left of our enemies. The council sat in stunned silence. Zaroth stared at Hayes, his eyes narrowing. Bold words for a species that has yet to face our combined might. Hayes leaned closer to the camera, his voice dropping. Try us. The feed cut off. The council chamber remained eerily quiet for several minutes. Finally, Kane broke the silence. We've underestimated the humans at every turn. If we continue, we risk repeating Rorax 2 on every front. Revier nodded reluctantly. It's clear. Humanity has risen beyond what we believed possible. Our survival now depends on finding a way to coexist. Varric glared at the others but fell silent, his fists clenched. Zaroth, the ever-pragmatic warlord, rose to his feet. Prepare the armistice conditions. Humanity's wrath is a storm we cannot weather. As Hayes returned to his quarters aboard the Retribution, a rare moment of introspection struck him. Staring at the holographic map of the galaxy, he sighed. They'll think twice before crossing Earth again, he said to no one in particular. But the burden of the war still hung heavy. Every mission, every victory, was a step closer to peace, but it came at a cost. Humanity had sent a message loud and clear. They were not just another player in the galactic theater, they were its new apex force.